Welcome. We are meeting on Thursday, November 21st. So to discuss the nature of the times, we're discussing a new moon in Sagittarius that's going to be taking place on December 1st. Where to begin? First of all, congratulations on having survived this far through one of the most brutal and intense lunations I can remember in a long time, with the prior new moon in Scorpio, ruled by Pluto in the final minutes of Capricorn. Well, Pluto has finally left Capricorn as of several days ago on the 19th. So we've got shifts going on into the new year through springtime of 2025. I just took the astrology now through spring so I can explain to you the nature of this new moon because it's a little bit complex. But I want to begin with the pats on the back because it's been an intense one. It's been a storm. And I'm actually shooting this video while the sun is in the final moments of Scorpio. 3 p.m. today, the sun enters Sagittarius. So by the time this video is reaching you, the sun is fresh into Sagittarius. So we can begin maybe like driving through a storm and it's just overcast and rain for hours and hours and hours. You may begin to sense a break in the clouds with this transit of the sun into Sagittarius, but certainly we're talking about the new moon on December 1st is especially when that might be the tow guy to grab my car. Hold on. Yep, that's right. What you're literally seeing and hearing in the background is my only car getting towed away while I live alone in the mountains where there's no Uber or rentals or anything like that. So again, some of you must have understood the incredible stress that I'm under right now. I wish I could thank you each individually for your donations, but I simply am thanking you from the depths of my soul. Thank you so much for your support. I cannot express how supportive it truly is. While I am forced to just, sometimes I've said in these videos in the past, I feel like I am the actual weatherman, like in the middle of the storm. This would be one of those times, winter time ahead of us. So let's get back to this new moon, December 1st. This is when we're going to experience a significant shift. Now, the new moon in Sagittarius in general, there's a lightening. And there are some beautiful aspects here. We see a grand trine in the fire signs between Mars and Leo and the moon's north node in the early degrees of Aries, ruled by Mars. So there's this energy, buoyancy. Keep moving. And what's really interesting is that Mercury is going to station retrograde Monday, November 25th through December 15th. Mars is slowing to a station. Will station retrograde Friday, December 6th. So this new moon is occurring just after a freshly stationed retrograde Mercury, somewhat joining that Mercury, and in this grand trine with Mars, who's also slowing to a station. Really interesting, because the grand trine is this move forward and confidence and determination and, momentum. We're picking up from this lost momentum. And then at the same time, Mercury and Mars stationing retrograde, it's almost like we're moving backwards. It's like full steam backwards. I don't know how else to explain it. There's just simply going to be maneuvering that's involved through this retrograde period. So again, it's going to be Mercury stationing on Monday, November 25th. Mercury will station trine to Chiron and in square to Neptune. Now, this is around Black Friday time. So, if you're doing a whole bunch of purchases, like I'm saying I am here, this can be a little bit tricky because, if you're not sure if you're really going to like it, if you're not sure they're not going to really like it, they may really not like it because this retrograde signature can have to do with well, if it doesn't work right the first time, you got to do it a different way. Now, sometimes people will really take these things very, very far. Like, don't purchase anything during Mercury retrogrades. Don't drive anywhere during Mercury retrogrades. Well, as we're seeing here, sometimes we're forced to do those things despite whether or not it's the perfect, most fortunate time here. So, this isn't saying don't go ahead with it. It's simply saying there may be some adjustments. Like, it takes some time, or it's different than how we expected it. The work ahead, the road ahead, because so much of this new moon that's going to bring us through the month of December 2024, closing out 2024, is this completion of the moon's north node through Aries, which has been this last 18 months of individuation. I think that's where we can really start to see the clouds clearing under this particular new moon. Especially the fact that this new moon is exactly the same degree as asteroid Urania. It can really give us this advantageous, bigger picture. Urania is one of the 9 muses in Greek mythos. She is the orchestrator of the sounds of the spheres. So Urania is one of those astrologer asteroid placements. And we can see also Mercury stationing on the south node of Uranus, while Jupiter's just stationed on the north node of Uranus. That's some pretty profound eureka revelation. So it's like, just because these planets are stationing retrograde doesn't mean that it's all going to shit. It's like raking through and discovering what's there. And how can we get back to this, what we've been working for the last 18 months, getting back on our horse, the confidence to be ourselves, to go to the beat of our own drum, to know who we are, to know what's important, to know what to stand up for, what to fight for. And that's what this new moon is calling us towards, to stand up and to fight for what is right. This is like fighting for what is right, Bhagavad Gita style. What I mean by this is each of us has our own dharma. Each of us has our own truth. Each of us has our own path that we're walking through. And it's not to say that one is better or worse, or that we're all supposed to look one particular way. That would be the shadow, if there were any, for Sagittarius, is the one size fits all. Everyone's got to look the same as me. Everyone's got to behave the same as me. So, we form these definitions of what we consider love, or what we consider goodness, or our particular religious path. And we need to be open-minded here. This whole period is about an opening, an unwinding, and a very deep healing, as this is a radical change. Pluto has officially entered Aquarius and is going to be in Aquarius for the next 2 decades. There's no more going back into this weird medieval past that November 2024 weirdly brought up since this prior new moon in Scorpio. Now, Mars is going to station opposite to that Pluto, fresh into Aquarius. So Mars is going to be sitting there all the next few months into the start of 2025. And there's an excitement there. There's also a need to experiment. We're talking about restlessness, like something's got to change, something's got to move, something's got to be different. And then that Mars wants to pop some cork, really heal our sense of connection with our own self, our own inner child. This is about self-healing. This is about finding attunement with what is really emotionally fulfilling. That's one of the ways to know what's right and dharmic for us. If we're going into a drag your heels into work, sucks our soul away, makes us forget that there's a purpose in life, that's a good red flag. Something needs to change. Whereas this exploration is about finding what's exciting, finding where our curiosity is leading us. And even if we have to keep just looking, or turning it over, this experiment can really bring us into the new. But Mars retrogrades are always a thing, And this Mars retrograde will lead us to February 24th, 2025, where he will station direct at 17 degrees Cancer. So this is, again, Mars stations retrograde 6 degrees Leo, Friday, December 6th, stations direct in Cancer, squaring Chiron. Okay, so we're going to get these 3 squares, or it's good, fortunately it's not No, we're going to get 3 squares to Chiron, early 2025. End of January, and then at, around March to April are these squares to Chiron here. So again, there's really this final culmination and completion of these Martian themes that have been so front and central for the last 18 months. Even the next partial solar eclipse at the end of March is in Mars' sign of Aries. Although the moon's north node is going to transit into Pisces, the solar eclipse isn't in Pisces, it's in Aries. So it's very fascinating because there's still this, just like a potter at the wheel, refining this who we are, this individuality, and this confidence to be ourselves, to go to the beat of our own drum. Then Mars stations direct in Cancer, early 2025. This is about finding the support, finding the safety to be ourselves. Mars stationing retrograde in Leo is beginning this call back towards our noble, kingly, divine inner child. It's like each of us was born to be divine. Just like how I'll use the example of the orchestra as the all in all. There's flute players, there's trumpet players, there's trombone players, and each of them are letting loose on their own instruments at their own unique time, in their own place, in their own part. So each of us are ourselves, our own divine instrument, born to be who we are, to go to the beat of our own drum, to be spontaneous, to just like letting the cat out of the bag. Hello, this is who I am. Do we have that confidence? Do we have that support? Where's the group? Where's the family that actually recognizes us and appreciates us for who we are and what we actually hold and what we actually do? And this is again where I mentioned my own personal subjective astrology, and the objective astrology can be confusing because I could see it coming together where, this holiday season is like many I've spent alone and with a shattered family and with really no sense of belonging and a lacking sense of safety. And again, my heart goes out to the supports that I have that are there, like Amanda and all those. Like, you have no idea how much you've changed my life, giving me a cat and a place to stay. And God bless you, and knock on wood, fingers crossed, you become guardian of this estate that is, yours. And it doesn't slip out of your hands into the hands of, evil, frankly, because I'm tired of it. And that's what we see happening in the world again and again and again, do we not? And that's going to be a part of this shifting and this changing no, we can't full steam backwards. We've got to find out how to honor divinity. We've got to find out what real moral goodness is, how to help humanity in this day and age, how to help people in their particular circumstance, in their particular region, in their particular nation, as everything's going through this blender of change. Pluto fresh into Aquarius is going to be extremely, as I described, restless. And wherever there's been repression, there's a loaded spring here that wants to lift off. So say you're like me and you've never lived a childhood. You had to grow up too early and then you spent your 20s raising a child, and it's just like, this is a returning to that which got frickin' denied or rejected or squashed down. And here I am. I have just years and years and years of denial and rejection, and I know people don't always understand it because, the internet doesn't convey this, but this is something I think that all of us can relate to in a certain way, with the transiting moon's north node going through Aries again this last year and a half. Okay? So there's a huge shift. This is going to begin, happy new moon, on December 1st. The new moon in Sag, I think, can bring a really magical in-between month of December. And then once we start to get into 2025, we're going to get pretty serious about what this world needs and how we are all a part of it. That's what's on the horizon. And some people are already getting called into that. You already feel that. You already sense that. And I'm already meeting these people, like the true leaders, the true healers. They're so humbling to have as clients. And I always hear how they go through such challenging things. Like my friends, Do not be misbelieved into thinking that the riches and the luxury life only goes to spiritual people. That is not what I observe. I hear, oh my God, the most spiritual, loving, amazing people are living homeless, giving away their land, etc., etc. You know, there has to be an end to the eternal cross carriers being the only cross carriers. Everybody's got a cross to carry. Everybody's got a dharma. Everybody's got a duty. Everybody's got free will. So we can choose to deny that, or we can choose to accept that. There's different types of pain in life. There's a pain in accepting our dharma. It's a lonely road. It's the work that only we can do. And there's an incredible pain in denying our dharma and losing our soul, which is the all too common mass consensus population is, lost souls. Zombie world. It's the few and far between that are the actual confident and courageous enough to initiate, lead, act on courage. That's Mars. That's what we're building. And that's where Mars, stationing opposite to Pluto, is going to initiate. The new pioneers, the new leaders. Oftentimes pioneers, the first half of their life, we feel like we're totally rejected, alone, misunderstood. Then the latter half of our life, we realize that we've always been ahead of our time. We're here to lay seeds for future generations, and that's when we start to begin to get respected for it. It doesn't always happen overnight. We have to be able to know what is ours and pick ourselves up and go our own way, even if there is nobody there. Sometimes there is nobody. Sometimes there is no support. And then there's no mommy, there's no daddy. We have to be that for ourselves. That's the completion of Pluto through Capricorn. If there was any ending of oppression, is the ending of the bad father, the oppressive father, the tyrannical father. And now we're talking about the birth of the good father. The ending of gender stigma, the ending of this medieval era, where there's only the two dynamics of the man who fights the war, goes to the factory, and the woman who raises the children and stays behind the scenes in the kitchen. And those are the only two possibilities that exist. I don't think so. I think humanity is so much more brilliant and more creative than this. So there's going to be some tremendous restlessness as we are slingshotting out of the old era. And it's going to be fascinating to see how that plays out in the world, especially as we enter retrograde season these next few months. I mean, my goodness, we even just had the asteroid Lucifer station retrograde in Cancer. Will station direct February 19th, the last degree of Gemini. Really, really needing to find support here, safety, and all of this emotional digestion that's required. In order to know what our truth is, we have to have the safety to digest these emotions. The emotional part of ourself is our inner child. It's going to let us know via those emotions. I like this, I don't like this, I feel good here, I don't feel good here, I'm respected here, I'm not respected here, and then that's that loaded spring. We must listen to that and call out for the parts that have been cast out. Call out to the parts that we've lost or the parts that have been cut out of ourselves, just like my car that's no longer there. So I'm officially alone in the mountains with no car here. So I'm calling out for a new car to be brought to me that will be everything I need, everything I want, that will be exciting for my inner child and not just an endless chore, not just an endless labor. We have to call out for those things and then allow those things to come out. Reach out for those things. We have to apply the conscious effort here. It does not just happen on its own. It does not happen without the conscious effort. That's why evolutionary astrology is so intense and so powerful and for the few and far between, because you'll see your dharma, you'll know your dharma, and then it is up to us again. We are oftentimes the only one reparenting ourselves, so that way we can pick up that gift that God gave us. Nobody else told us it was a gift. Nobody else validated it. Nobody else told us that this was what we were supposed to be doing in life, but it's our inner child, it's our heart, it's our passion, it's our curiosity that's leading us there, and it all clicks together. When it comes together, it's the work that doesn't feel like work, because it's ours. That's going to bring us back to this inner child. So we have to have the safety, like we have to have the root chakra, base security taken care of. have to have this ending of the age of oppression and just mere survival. So that way we have the safety to tune in. Have an inner communion, have an inner dialogue between inner adult and inner parent and inner child, to give permission to be ourselves and to give permission to explore. Because again, this period's going to take us through an exploration, now through springtime. And here I am going to wrap up. I hope that this was able to get through to you despite the challenging conditions. And again, your support means all the world. I hope that this is also supportive right on back to you. I am wishing you all so much the very best. My love goes out to you as well as your beloveds. And as always, I am hoping that you take very good care of yourself. And may that support also be there when and where you need it for you as well.